Now I guess let's queue up and play some games and try to get your commentary on like the plays I'm making if you think I'm doing something that's like not necessarily optimal or different from what you'd be doing. Um, I guess let's start out with the meta decks. I actually don't have I do have Jagro, but I like have not played it. Um, so let's start with frontline, I guess then.
Sure thing.
Do do do. I like the new
Like,
like loading screens by the way that are like different for each nation. Like you got the PIR alt art for US.
yeah, that was a nice little thing when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Britain. What do you think Britain is?
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot of things it could be, but I think the main thing that you have to think about Britain is supply shortage, because pretty much every Britain deck plays 4 copies of supply shortage.
Mm-hmm. Right, so we got a lot of turn one options. What do you think the best one to play is? I'm thinking combat engineers.
Um, sure, yeah, that makes sense. Um, Often you play the Red Devils first, just in case they have some sort of removal option, but I'm hard pressed to figure out what Britain would play for removal, so it doesn't really make a big
Yeah,
difference.
like now that you mentioned that, I think I should have played this first because we have the turn two 99th in hand. Um,
Uh, Maybe that's a fair point. And
yeah,
Britain doesn't have a lot of single target removal. I
exactly.
mean, we didn't know the ally nation. It could have been like a Britain Soviet, and then that would be like a huge liability. But
Right.
I think in the large majority of the cases, yeah, that would have been pretty good. But you still have Red Devils turn two, and that is with the 99th, and that
Hmm.
is also really good.
Oof. Some ramp deck. That's interesting. Would you ever consider PIR here?
Are- I was actually thinking about it. Because if you go for PIR 164th, then you have a 50% chance of getting the same sort of buff in the front line, and you're putting out a lot more pressure with the 2-1 from the 164th.
Hmm.
Um, if your opponent supply shortages, it's not great for you, but you still have the 99s to keep your things alive for quite a while. So, yeah,
Makes
I like
sense.
the 164th PIR.
Oh, we got the
Sounds
high
good.
roll too.
Yeah. And your opponent is 1 turn off of sorry, not Commonwealth, carpet bombing
Uh,
commandos.
wait, this might be J King's deck, that Commonwealth slash OTK deck.
It could be, but it would be very surprising for your opponent to play the commando there if it was.
Um,
And I just move up the PIR. It's dead soon anyways.
ESW.
Oh, you may be right about it being J King's
Yeah.
list.
Um, so
So
it feels hard to give up 6 damage and play. We can do it.
yeah,
I have
um you can deal 11 to your opponent this turn, and which one of these cards in the front line do you think you want to buff?
I think I could get blown out by carpet if I buff the PIR, but if he had carpet, he maybe would have probably would have played it last turn.
He for sure would have played carpet if he had it. So I think that yep, it's a great idea to go for the PIR.
All right, let's go then.
And he needs to top deck Monty or top deck a carpet. I mean, he could have Monty in hand that he greeted out on and played ASW Patrol, but
Okay. Monty is this card I'm predicting. Okay, I
and even
lied.
if it is, you have Sherman, you have Panzer 55T, you have We Can Do It, you have a lot of
Hmm.
play into it, even if he has it.
Never lucky, no Monty. Unless he's
He's
drawing
pointing
less.
at the Red Devils, but he can't play that naval power on it. Yeah.
Oh, what is that though? Oh, he's gonna die to supply shortage. I
Yeah.
forgot,
So
yeah.
that was actually the best outcome.
Okay, not bad. Um, so here I feel like it's definitely worth getting the we can do it out. Because this thing, if this gets pinged one more time, it'll just die to supply shortage, and it's a source of 6 damage. But what do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's important that you have the two other units on the board. If you had just
Oh,
like one less unit in the front line, then I think you probably might have gone for the Sherman, but
because of ASW?
um yeah, because of ASW and also just because um the extra value uh from We Can Do It is important, especially into him having a commando on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Just allows it to soak up more damage. He's able to trade into the Red Devils here and kill it because of the extra supply shortage, but I don't know if he knows that.
Does he know? I mean, I don't think he can win. It's gonna be pretty tough for him to win unless he like top decks another lend lease either way.
Yeah, and he also played the double strength,
Oh, he
and I
oh
okay,
okay, it actually was another double strength though, so
so he
technically
didn't ruin
still
the combo.
yeah, he didn't ruin the combo. He technically could have still won if he like just traded in and then top decked lend lease into Monty or the other way around and then just somehow had an insane sequence there.
Yeah, a couple of carpet bombings maybe.
All right, let's do another match. How much time do you have, by the way?
Um, I have probably like 40 minutes.
Okay, that should be good enough. Right, Germany. Do, do, do. Um, in this situation, I feel like I just play around careless with the 164th, even though I do have 35T in hand with the combat engineers.
Um, I
I
don't think it's worth playing around careless. I mean, both of these units are actually fairly similar in value,
okay.
in terms of getting killed by careless talk. And, even if your opponent runs careless talk, which is a big maybe, um, there's a good chance they don't have it. Because usually people only run 2 copies.
Okay, fair enough.
And you're always safe to attack when your opponent's on 2 credits, unless they're holding up the one that deals damage to you,
Yeah.
um, equal to how much damage you deal.
Or they had missing.
Yeah.
um, I mean, if he had Sunstrike, he could have held it to play Reichsbank for his swing turn, right?
hmm and he's going to be a credit off of Leopold. So flooding is fine. Um, the one dangerous thing is Maelstrom, but even German control decks often only run one copy. So, I mean, I'd still jam the 99th and hope he doesn't have it.
Okay.
This also plays around Schützen better,
Right.
playing the 99th.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's pretty close to being GG.
Yeah.
Unless he has a Leopold. Although I even do have the
You
Hellcat.
full for Leopold actually with the 109th
Oh, right.
Combat 35T 99th.
Right.
All right, nice. Some easy
Yep.
games.
Easy games. Although we did get pretty good openings. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
let's move on to a self-damage game. Wow, I never realized this is the ISU art, right? There's like I never
Um,
realized there's a ton of people like soldiers behind it.
I didn't notice that either.
Um, okay. So US, decent chance of frontline. What are your thoughts on this self-damage mulligan?
Um, it it's hard because like you have a curve already, so it's tempting to keep. But against frontline, you really want sickles and you really want red dawns.
Okay.
Um, so Yak 7 is so good if they're not able to kill it and you're going first. Um, if you're pitching the 34th guards, I think you're also pitching the SU.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think this is fine. Um if this was back when I played self damage and 34th guards was 6 cost, I would keep it, but at 7 cost it's kind of sketchy.
Okay. And he's going second, so he has an extra card. Do you think it's worth playing around 35T now that we have a 456th? Or do you think we just like rip the yak?
I think you just rip the yak. I mean, the worst case scenario is a 1-for-1, um, which I think is, okay. Obviously,
Technically,
you
I
don't
think
want them to have the 35T, but
technically I think the worst case scenario is through the breach. I've seen I've seen someone run that.
yeah, that's fair.
Um,
Ooh, that's a huge draw.
so 456th into Red Dawn.
Yeah. Um, Even T80 into Red Dawn isn't bad either, just because the T80 lines up with the Red Devils, but I don't think you're in a rush to deal with the Red Devils either. And if he pushes up without dealing with the Yak,
Okay.
then you'd be able to trade anyways. Yeah, that's a little
That makes sense.
surprising.
Yeah. What you said makes sense, yeah. But wow, I was not expecting that one.
So probably like a Rima kind of strategy um, going on here with a little bit of spice grown into the
s-
mixture.
I think that's a lot of spice, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
So here, would you play these two or these two or something else?
Um, Actually, the decision in There's also the scouting party and push up to deny the front line, but that's weakened to fifth rangers.
Right.
So I'd probably go for the T80 and the other 456.
Okay. Um, so we are kind of in stars range, but I think this trade definitely happens, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and
and I
also
would actually just go ahead.
I was just thinking like I can't steal this at the moment, or next turn rather, because my support line's full. Well, if it is full next turn. But yeah, go ahead.
I would actually just double trade out here versus playing the SU and being even weaker into Stars and Stripes.
Okay, fair enough. Holy, not the second fiery ambush.
A few good men.
What is,
Incredible.
damn, this guy's a culinary chef. What is he cooking up? Um,
Here, I kind of feel like, hmm, it's an awkward turn because you want to play for credit efficiency and play Scouting Party and SU. That's like in theory the best play, but there's Stars and Stripes and there's strategic bombing potentially, which isn't the end of the world because um, it if you think of Scouting Party as being a convoy, it's essentially only hitting 2 units,
mhm.
but you don't get the Winter Warfare off.
I think
I I think I just SU push up and hit the HQ.
that was that was exactly what I was about to say. Great minds think alike.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, dude.
There was a lot going on to consider that turn.
Um,
Uh, so he could have Counter Strike or Air
yeah.
Defense up. And I think you're fine with trading in the Gree one, and if either of those happen, then that's not the end of the world.
Okay. Um, so 4 credits for this, so I can still move up and attack with both units if I scouting party
Yeah,
winter.
sounds good to me. And you're not really holding the Winter Warfare for anything against this deck.
Right.
Um, like some decks, you want to be able to Scouting Party Winter Warfare and like catch a few of their units at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
Oh, there's the RMT. Um, that's actually a bit weird, because Red Dawn doesn't actually kill it. They're both 5 attack after Red Dawn.
Yeah, the spicy consideration is to keep your 456 alive by red dawning your own 33rd recon. But
Ooh, okay.
I, as spicy as it is, and as much as I like that, I don't think it's worth it.
Right.
uh,
What if I just play the KV and push up both units since US France doesn't really have any board clears to worry about? Except
yeah,
maybe
that's reasonable.
except
Um,
maybe what's it called? I keep forgetting cards names today. um Seaborn Invasion. But I mean even
hmm,
Seaborn Invasion doesn't feel too bad at the moment.
no, the one thing I'm worried about was actually Avenger.
Uh
Oh. one misplay that you did make that I didn't really notice was you forgot to check the intel um, off of the
Oh,
scouting party,
okay.
which is an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. So do I just like sickle one of these, I feel like?
Yeah, I feel like you start with sickling one of them and then see what you find.
Another recon.
So you can kill both this. Wait, can you? No, you can't. You're one damage off. But I'd probably do the Red Dawn on the Gree 8 and trade in the 5-2.
Oh, I forgot to
Okay,
test for air defense.
that's okay. You can trade off the 6-5 still and play the 34th cards. Yeah. Yeah, and it would have been nice to play the at least one recon, but that's okay.
Um, oh, okay, not the
Manpower.
manpower. Not the manpower.
Okay, I was not anticipating that. All right. Well, I
Um,
think cycling with the hmm.
I was just a bit hesitant to kill these off because of a counteroffensive potentially.
Yeah. Well, we can lead with yeah, island defense.
Another scouting.
Um and yeah, if you're looking to hold those back, that's fine. How many cards do you have left in deck?
21.
Okay. Then I would play the engineers and the scouting party. Technically, you scouting party first, and look what he has. Another manpower.
Yeah. Another. Oh, okay. This is gonna be tough to get through, especially
Yeah.
without Ra. Although, but if he just doesn't have an answer to the KVs, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
He might have called to the colonies though.
Possibly.
That would be really sad.
Maybe maybe he misclicks on call to the colonies and instantly dies though.
Oh no. Holy. Not even a manpower, just straight up medical battalion.
Okay, but you can 30 knife the Jasco, so that's not bad.
Okay, right. I almost forgot about that. So I have to move this up too, right?
Hmm. And so if you trade in the recons, if you find a winter warfare, you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's worth it, even though you're giving him the opportunity to take the front line easier.
Mm.
Okay. I'd hit your own recon actually with the sickle.
Right, that makes sense. Oh, never lucky. Right, take that.
All right, moment of truth.
Okay.
There we go.
That was a wild game.
Yeah, that was very strange.
All right. Let's move on to my credit denial deck just to make sure we have time for everything.
Sure.
Do.
Pilsudski.
Oh, I remember this guy. Haven't seen him that often recently though. Um, I feel like I keep daylight bombing and honey.
I mean, if you're playing Credit Denial, surely you always got to keep daily bombing. But before you hit confirm, is there
Oh.
okay? I was gonna say, is it actually worth keeping Monty? Just because of how powerful it is, and if it's Jagro, they get 3 units out pretty quick.
Fair enough. I always thought like I'd try to like save Monty for a big swing turn, like potentially with a Crusader on board, or like to Monty a big fighter that they put down.
Sure. I mean, there are those, huge blowout cases, but I think a lot of the time the more important thing is just playing the most powerful card in the game, you know?
Fair enough.
And he's probably thinking about the supply shortage. He'd be playing a Type 94 instead of like a cavalry. Um,
I do think I can be a little more liberal with my supply shortages because I do have a carpet as well.
Here, yeah, I just trade and play honey. Very nice. Now, do you have any guards in this deck?
Only Black Watch, 2 copies.
So, against Jagro, that actually means that you want to be playing these honeys on the left side.
Oh, because of
Um,
Sendai?
yeah, because of Sendai. Because Sendai always, I know you probably know this already, but just
Yeah.
for anybody's sake, for whoever's watching, Sendai always redeploys the unit on the right. So you want to have your cards on the left against Jagro, so that when the guard comes back down, it will always give you the guard on the HQ.
Okay. Yep. And last turn I went with the southern plan instead of the daylight bombing because I feel like this by itself isn't super threatening. It would need like 2 Type 93s to trade and kill my honey. And if that's the case, I just supply shortage. Um,
Yeah, yeah, seems reasonable. So that's 3 expansions already. So
he's been playing
he's
it very,
almost got a
very
draw.
slow.
Yeah, he's playing around the supply shortages, which makes sense.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
That's spicy.
Yeah, trade and daylight bombing makes sense.
I was just thinking, would there be any other targets that, I mean, an early credit denial, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, even if they have Aichi, supply shortage is like one of the best answers in the game to that.
Hmm. So one the interesting thing is the interaction between supply shortage and various start of turn effects. I think in this case it kills it before they get the credit, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the case for all the start of turn effects.
Oh, is it? I I feel like Yak. Actually, I don't remember. Um, although no, very notably, mobilize procs first. Um,
Yes, that's true. So I definitely hold up this ultra just because you need to cycle it to find
mhm,
card draw, and no reason to kill this out yet. Honestly, the more credits Pilsudski has is not really a big issue because that's just him putting out more stuff for this supply shortage.
mhm. Wow,
This is
playing
a
it very slow. Okay. Like he's had like a full hand for like multiple turns.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
this is one of the things that I always found a little frustrating with Kredit Denial is that you need to find the early Kredit Denial and the draw.
Yeah, that's part of why like I always said like the high roll, because people think high rolling with Credit Denial is like just playing Denial on like turn 2 and turn 4, but like you kind of need the draw to like follow it up. Obviously, your opponent's in a big disadvantage if you get the Credit Denial out, but like you can end up giving them a lot of turns to catch up. Um, if you if you just dump your hand and then don't find anything that you can play.
So that was
Oh,
the worst possible Crusader positioning,
I wasn't even
because of
thinking
bombing
about
raid.
it. Yeah. Whoops.
Um,
Um,
I do think that it's worth playing this naval power while it cycles, so that you're able to find draw, um, and you can prevent this trading in case that is somehow relevant. But you're pretty much playing it because it cycles, heals 3, pretty good.
I am also down 2 honeys, so my healing is limited. I also don't have a fortification in this deck, so we're probably looking to like honey redeploy, heal up to Commonwealth. Although
Yeah.
it
Um,
it may be possible to win through just removing everything they have, because I do have a
oh, that's
counter.
so greedy, Pilsudski. Oh, and you get punished. Sorry.
um,
uh, that was crazy though to go for that rather than the double um what surprise attack that he has in hand.
um, so in this situation, did I
I think
play
double
out
supply
this?
shortage is fine.
Did I play out the second Crusader?
Um, I think just holding up the Ultra is probably better,
Okay.
but it's not crazy to do the double Crusader. And I would do the second supply shortage. I know it's kind of inefficient uses, but it's cycling, and it means that this Gritu is going away. Which means that you keep the Crusader, which means more value in the future.
I was also briefly considering just surprise attacking that.
Hmm.
I forgot I need to play everything on my left side so that it's guarded when I play my Black Watch on the left side.
Yeah,
Whoops.
which also would have played around the bombing rate.
Hmm.
So, what do you think you want to do this turn?
Um, move up the Crusader, kill that. Surprise attack the key, and then hmm.
And then either Black Watch or Southern Flame.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. Um, Sovereign Plan allows you to
Ultra.
push up to 24th or hold up Ultra. Yeah. I'd probably push up
Yeah.
24th.
To get that out of my deck.
Mhm. I don't think there's too many orders he can play here that are that relevant.
Oh, no
Oh,
way! No way!
that's brutal. Last turn it was also, I think, acceptable to play Black Watch, Surprise Attack, and Southern Plan,
Hmm.
um, and not kill the 22nd, which does, give your opponent an extra draw, but it does protect the Crusader, and it's pretty credit efficient.
I was a little bit worried about Raiding Brigade because he's drawn a ton of cards, and Blackwatch is a prime target for that.
Yeah, but the reality is he's gonna get Raiding Brigade on. Okay. I'm shocked that he played Raiding Brigade there. I was going to say he's gonna get it on the Blackwatch at some point anyways, because he's not going to use it on that Crusader. But apparently he is.
He's just listening in on our conversation, just to prove you wrong. Well, this is still kind of a pretty tough spot for me, though.
I actually think you redeployment here.
Okay, yeah.
It gives you opportunities to actually draw off the 24ths. Um,
The naval supply run is scary.
it does mean that you're not going to be Commonwealthing this game, but I think that's okay.
Okay.
Because I think you're able to. I think that ship has sailed a little bit ago, and I think you're able to win this game by fatiguing out your opponent.
Okay. Um,
Uh, yeah, here you probably honey convoy daylight bombing. Unless you find some sort of pin for this key. Okay, I just did. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. No, I think you're probably right to play that. It's just, I mean, mm,
oh,
yeah, you're
yeah, I
well, you're
probably should have
yeah,
daylight bombing. Yeah.
yeah, you're milling cards, and the other thing is that this Yokosuka is really likely to get re-attack and trade into the honey.
I was honestly thinking I wanted to save the daylight bombing, but for carpet bombing, but no, that just yeah, that makes sense.
And now your fatigue win condition is also a little sketchy, a little more sketchy. Although I guess you had to play that card at some point. I guess this key has really just drawn you so many more cards than your opponent that the fatigue win con is hmm, in a rough spot. Oh, okay. So you can sexton the key and then surprise attack the key to kill it.
Hmm.
And then you can 24th Cavalry trade. And that costs uh 6 plus 3 is 9 credits. You have 2 credits left over, which doesn't do much.
I can't daylight bomb. Um,
Yeah. Um, I think the best play you had was actually to Churchill and Sexton this turn.
oh, yeah.
But that's out of reach now. I would just trade 24th. I actually think that it's good to draw your opponent more cards off of this martyr.
Okay, yeah.
Because that, allows you to play more of your draw as well. And you still have two 24th cavalries left in the deck.
Yeah. I
So,
think I have to save the Monsoon Rod for Shiden, because that's my only answer to Shiden right now.
yeah, fair.
Um, unless I can get a Churchill to stick after he uses the surprise attacks. I don't know, like, what's the meta number of Sendais to run in
Most
Gyro?
people run 1. I run 2. but the most common amount is definitely one.
I think. Hmm. This is a tough spot. Um, I mean, I guess I just Churchill. If I Churchill, it's kind of awkward to kill the Dragon Slayer. Um,
Yeah, I mean, the Dragon Slayer is kind of as much of a threat as Eden is. Like, Sheedan's a little scarier, but
okay. So you're
I
saying just rip the Monsoon Rot, or we could do
I
daylight
think
bombing supply shortage.
um but then what do you use the Monsoon Rot for? Like, how do you use it effectively against the Sheedan afterwards? No, definitely not Churchill.
Yeah, because you got the Monsoon
I
Rot
think
on them.
think holding up Ultra was probably best line.
Damn, there's a lot to think about in these matchups when you're trying to play
Yeah.
completely optimally. Yeah, you're right. I definitely should have held up Ultra because we know he has naval supply run.
Um
So we do still have carpet bombing in deck.
okay, so that allows for Monsoon Rot carpet bombing.
Yeah.
So then yeah, holding the Monsoon Rot was good. I wasn't sure there were any other things to sort of combo with it, but
Do we use all supply shortages or just three?
I think we used all of them.
That, that means the Aichis are kind of a problem.
Yeah.
This is definitely a Churchill, right?
I think so, yeah.
Um,
And
Move up
orders left in his deck are Bombing Raid,
a second naval supply run.
potentially second naval supply run, potentially Shinhodo. Is that what wait. No, that's not what it's called.
Shinano.
Shinano,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shinoda is the tank.
Yeah. Well, you knew what I meant.
Yeah.
Good. You can probably push up the Gree one and hold up Ultra. Like the other consideration was playing Blackwatch.
Yeah, especially since we know Raiding Brigade is gone. It's possible. Hopefully he doesn't run Shiden. If he does, it's
Yeah.
gonna be problematic if he also has an answer to the Churchill, which presumably he still has at least one Sendai. Wait, double
He is
martyr.
yeah, he's drawing way too many cards here.
Huh.
So I'll let you go through what you think you want to do here first.
So I have no surprise attacks left, so I think I just naval power this, and then if he's trading here, that means he doesn't want to Sendai, so maybe I even just go face and force him to make the trade. And even if he does Sendai, he's already damaged it, so it's very inefficient for him. Um,
So what does HQ damage do this game?
it brings him closer to like dying from the fatigue damage he'll take soon.
Yeah. Um, but I think what's more relevant here is trading out this Aichi and surprising attacking the other side of it. so that carpet bombing is able to clear the board once you
Oh,
find it.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then you can Black Watch maybe that or Ultra and push up 24th.
Actually, I probably don't play it. I was just thinking I maybe just hold it, and then if he, just in case he has Shinano.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
All right. So yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I'd even push up the Black Watch. Um, because even if he plays Sheeden here, he might want to trade with the Black Watch so that you're not able to double trade.
mm, yeah, if he Shidens and kills off the Black Watch, that's a pretty big problem. The only like threat I have left is Wellington. Oh, and Lancaster, but like they're both like pretty bad into Shiden. And
Yeah,
this guy's at 3 HP now. Um, he is 3 cards closer to fatigue.
yeah, which is
Okay, I
all the
got him.
buffer you need really. Hold up. Okay. I think it was worth playing the Lancaster, which means that you would have attacked with the Avery and the Lancaster for maximum damage.
Okay. Um, Fair enough, yeah. It's just my instinct to attack with the two attack unit in case of retaliation, but that would be really spicy if he had retaliation. I mean, I could still do it. I just missed 1 damage, right?
Yeah, it's probably still worth it. I mean, like you're still losing to Sheeden, right? So like,
Well, he has to trade now with Shiden.
Sheeden's really good into it, obviously. But if he plays Sheeden and you have no answers left in your deck, then Lancaster's only getting worse if he finds it,
Yeah,
right? So I
that
think
makes
it just makes
sense.
sense to play.
Imagine Shiden's just the last card in his deck.
Yeah.
He just like passed last turn. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that
that
was
means he just like
strange.
surrender. Um, I'm not sure what would. I guess he maybe he's just waiting for Shiden.
It's possible.
And
Or
then if, yeah, I mean, I guess. Um, I mean, okay, so the only order I'm worried about now would be the last naval supply run.
yeah.
Um, so I
So
feel like I would just Wellington, um, do I Wellington face or just take the,
yeah, because if you Wellington face and you double attack, then that's 8 damage, brings him to 3, which means he only needs 2 ticks of fatigue to die.
yeah, that sounds good.
If this were to have put him at like 4, then I would have advocated for trading out the 1/1.
Hmm.
But just because it means only 2 ticks of fatigue, I think it's good. All right. I think he has a cavalry left. So if he had Sheeden and cavalry, and those were both his last 2 cards, so that neither of them are cost increased by the Lancaster, then he could survive here.
That would be pretty insane. Although you'd
I
still
mean, he only
lose.
just needs the Sheeden technically, because you can just trade the Lancaster
Right.
and trade the Blackwatch. He would still lose though, yeah.
Because yeah, because he needs Sheet to hit face.
All right, so he doesn't have
Yeah,
Sheeden.
I guess he doesn't have Sheet. So players have been just cutting Sheet from their decks now.
There's Monty.
There's Monty.
Yeah, it's not been too uncommon to cut it. Um,
And that's why you don't cut Sheet because
yeah,
the boogeyman Kredit Denial with his bombers are gonna come and haunt you.
yeah. Well, that was a game and a half.
Yeah, that was definitely wow. That was a wild ride. Um,
See, I told you didn't need Commonwealth.
yeah. Yeah, I was actually also thinking that too, like, because I know not I think back when Credit Denial was meta, I know not everyone ran carpet bombing, but I definitely feel carpet bombing is necessary at least right now. So I have like an extra board clear versus only having 4 supply shortages.
Feels like a roping report, perhaps.
Roping report. Uh, I, I deserve to be roped for playing Credit Denial. By the way, Geberg's Pioneer in Jagro. What are your thoughts on that?
um, I, f- I feel like so often you just don't need the extra credits in Jagro. Like, if you have it on turn 1 every time, like, yeah, it's pretty good. But,
Yeah, it
yeah, I
just
just
feels
don't
really
think it's
high
necessary.
rolly.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Man, that was sweaty. Usually, like I don't like sweat this much about making optimal plays. Just like play my Credit Denial and try to high roll. But it's really good getting insight from you on like just like small things. Certain thoughts about like positioning, like you mentioned, against Sendai bombing raid. Although bombing raid's like, I think everyone knows that. But yeah, it's really good getting your insights on those.